What's going on, Button Mashers? I'm Mr. Gamer.
And I'm Kitty Duvall.
And welcome to episode 52 of SBR Reports. Well, that was unexpected. And let's start off with something that, honestly, it came as such a surprise to me, like, seriously. So, has anybody heard of the Culling 2?
No. What's the Culling 1? What?
I don't know.
Like, I don't even know what the Culling is. Like, what is this? How is this? Why is this?
Well, so let's get into that.
You would get that reference if you watch Avengers, by the way.
I'll put that on the list of things to try to understand later. But, so apparently the Culling 2, as reported by WizHorde.com, is literally the worst. And I'm not talking about Leafy's literally. I'm talking about literally.
Literally?
Literally. I'm literally talking about literally here. Okay, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. So it's literally the worst launch of all time, which is a strong statement for a game I've never heard of, but it seems to fit. So the article talks about how Lawbreakers and Battleborn had terrible launches. I had one person, Cheech2099, who played Lawbreakers. He was actually able to get into the beta of the game, which was really nice. But it was like, okay, what is this trying to be? No one's really playing this. And then we all know Battleborn and how terrible that was, and I do believe it became free to play, and then obviously Mario vs. Capcom Infinite, which so sorry for anyone's ears, but yeah, obviously it just did not have the push that it needed. Now apparently
the push, they just messed it all up.
Now, what's interesting is the author of the article states that, for those unfamiliar, the Culling 1 was essentially the game that invented the Battle Royale game genre. Now, I don't know if I can necessarily agree with that, because to my knowledge, the Battle Royale genre was invented by a mod of a game for the PC called DayZ. So, I'm not 100% sure how correct that statement is, so but
who's the grandfather and who's the father?
Like, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm not 100% certain on this one. Now, the author of the article has not played the Culling 2, but just gave some nice snippets of the Steam reviews. One Steam user by the name of Cafe, Kaffe, this is not the Culling. It contains no elements of the original Culling. Do not buy. I've played alphas that played better than this.
Ouch.
Steam user Farlight says, I stubbed my toe on the way to install this game. That was the most enjoyable part of the experience.
Double ouch.
Steam user Rubber, not the condom, Steam user Rubber says DOA, which stands for Dead on Arrival.
Oh, I thought that meant Dead or Alive.
No, I really hope, I don't think the game would be that bad for you to make that sort of comparison. You would hope. So, according to the Steam launch data for this game, on the very hour of launch, it had 160 concurrent players. That means it had 160 people all playing this game at the exact same time. And then after that, it dropped, after 1 hour, it dropped to 88. And then after that, 76, 64, 54, and then 35. Now, unfortunately, with this game in particular, it requires 50 players, which really sucks, because if you have 35 people concurrently playing your game at max, but you need 50 players to actually start a match, you're never actually going to be able to enjoy or play anything. And ain't that just lovely? Could you imagine? Could you imagine you want to play, I don't know, Fantasy Life 26 with new Battle Royale co-op?
That sounds so bad.
I was trying to think of a bad game. I was actually trying to do that.
Because Fantasy Life is good, but what you just described was bad. That sounds like something that doesn't make sense, and I do not agree with that. Well, I don't like this. That hurt me.
You'll be fine, I'm sure. So, I feel sorry for the developers of the Culling 2. You really seem to have brought upon a Battle Royale game that doesn't really seem to have a lot of battling. As of July 14th, 3 people have played it.
So, to be fair, this kind of feels like an opinion piece with facts in it, so maybe it's not that bad, and this person is just really upset and hurt by it.
Now, I did look, though.
You did?
There
Mr.
are...
Gamers on the case.
So, here's the thing, though. You never have the maximum amount of people able to play this game since it launched. So, that number of 35, that is the second best number of people that have played the game concurrently. That means that less than 35 people at one time played the game. So the fact that 3 people played it upon the person writing this article, unfortunately, is factual.
Well then. I tried to give out hope. I really did.
I did too.
I was trying to be nice. But what the hell is this?
Okay, so...
Let's just move on to the next.
Unfortunately, we get to talk about something that completely blew me out of left field, and that's apparently that Clash of Clans is being used for money laundering. No, that is not a clickbait title. That is legitimate. As reported by Variety.com, Clash of Clans... Other mobile games, but more importantly Clash of Clans, because we need to use the picture of Clash of Clans for you to click on this article, is being used for money laundering.
I liked Clash of Clans for the 2 seconds I played it.
I played it a little bit, and I tried to actually get into a clan, but then I found myself kind of hitting the wall of, in order for you to progress, you need to pay us.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, that was me.
So, on a report that was initially noted on Gamasutra, it was found that over 20,000 stolen credit cards were used in games like Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, and Marvel Contest of Champions. The thieves can make purchases and then resell the accounts with the purchases to a third party, wiping their hands of any connection to the stolen credit card information. Now, according to the article, it seems to be a relatively easy process, as Apple IDs, which are required to make purchases on the App Store, only need a password, date of birth, and some security questions, and then an email address, and a dummy email address is easy enough to make that it's not really a hindrance. There's literally a website somewhere, I don't remember the exact name of it, but there's a website that you can use that will create that trial run for you. So it'll create an email account that will expire within 10 minutes, just so you can get you can keep using Netflix for free or what have you. It just keeps giving you an email address, and it just blows up after like 10 minutes or something like that. People do that. This exists.
Y'all could really be solving the economy issues. You could be doing so many things, but nah. We want free Netflix.
I mean, of course, Netflix is lit.
Get out.
This is my office. This is my studio. Can't tell me to get out.
Get out.
All right. So, one interesting thing to point out, though, is, and I'm not saying that one is better than the other, though I'm definitely saying that one is better than the other. It ain't happened on Android. Just saying.
Well, it makes sense it wouldn't happen on Android. If you're going to go for people's credit cards, you're going to go for the most used phone, which is Apple, especially in America.
Would you believe me if I told you that the most used phone is not Apple?
Really?
Yes.
The media lied to me?
Yes. As a matter of fact, 70% of mobile phones are Android phones.
In America? Because I'm talking about Americans specifically right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Personally, I believe the decline was, the fact that your iPhone is a rent payment, like an $1,000 phone. But I'm sorry, this is Mr. Gamer, not Tech Talks. Like, I'm not gonna get into that because, oh boy, that was such a terrible mistake. Yeah, that was just bad. Okay.
Tease me, Zaddy. You gonna be the tech daddy?
Don't make this weird, Mr. Ball. Please.
I make everything weird.
Oh boy, do you make it interesting. But let's get on to something that actually made me smile a little bit.
Oh, stereotypes. Germany has banned pre-orders for games with no release dates.
And I honestly couldn't be happier. I'm serious. I couldn't be happier. And let me tell you why. I want you to think about it this way. Considering the fact that I'm a guy of bigger stature, I like to eat. So let me throw this example at you, Mr. Duvall. Let's just say you are at a restaurant. You are at a restaurant that is known for giving you amazing food. What is one of your favorite dishes to eat?
Ooh, I've been craving a surf and turf.
So okay, so let's just say you go to luxurious seafood place and they have a surf and turf and you see it on the menu. Now, I'm gonna ask you this question. Mm-hmm. You order your waiter or your waitress comes up to you and you said that you would like the surf and turf. How odd would it be for you to then pay for that surf and turf right then and there before you've received it?
I'm sorry, I thought I was at a 5-star hotel restaurant, not McDonald's.
But okay.
Wait, no. I'm not paying anybody anything until I get my... Y'all got me messed up. That's the wrong type of question to ask me because you know how I am.
But think about it, though. But if you think about it, it's really not that different from pre-ordering a video game. Especially a video game that doesn't have a release date. You've ordered something. You will get it. But you'll pay for it first. And when you get your surf and turf, it's not guaranteed to be exactly what you want. It could have something in it. You could have to return it. There could be something wrong with it, but the restaurant has already received your money. So at that point, it's like, well, you didn't like it, but it was good enough for you to still eat it. This is why
That's the wrong type of thing, because the first thing that popped into my head is if it's not exactly what I wanted, I am taking it back.
Duly noted.
Fighting them.
Duly.
You don't mess with a surf and turf, man.
I guess you don't.
You don't mess with my food.
All right, note to self: do not mess with Kitty Duvall's food.
You should know this by now.
But yeah, going back to the point I was trying to make, I believe that
point.
I believe that this is an excellent idea. I would love, and I am doing my best to. To keep myself as unbiased as I possibly can, but could you truly imagine the impact that we the consumers would have if, let's just say, Kingdom Hearts 3? What if no one pre-ordered that? Now, mind you, I'm just saying pre-ordered it. I still want people to enjoy this game, but what would happen if we just didn't pre-order it?
I mean, I would say it's never coming out, but it hasn't came out for years, so...
And you know that people are going to want it, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, here's the thing, and I just want to pull this excerpt right out of the article. While you could also pre-order Metroid Prime 4 for the Nintendo Switch here in the United States right now through Amazon, you won't be able to do that anymore in Germany unless a specific release date is given. No word was given on what will happen to pre-orders for games like those that were placed before the ruling. Dusseldorf consumer CEO Wolfgang, I am going to butcher this, so my apologies, good sir, Szynoliński, had this to say on the matter.
His name is Wolfgang. I am happy.
Oh my goodness, you are easily entertained. When consumers order goods on the internet, providers must be specific by when the goods are delivered.
Which I agree with.
That does make sense, because I've already paid for something. When am I going to get it? Eventually. Well, I don't see eventually on my calendar, so you got to give me something a little better than that. So there we go. Honestly, I'm happy about that. I like
Mr. Wolfgang.
Like, I love the fact that we are putting when I mean we, I mean some people in the world are putting a stop to loot boxes, and those aren't as prevalent as they were before. And yes, some will make the argument that it's a choice, but gambling is also a choice.
And we also have places where people get help for their gambling addictions.
Right. So let's make that a little.
If you have to go to a meeting to stop doing it, it's probably not a good thing to sell on the internet. Maybe
just a little bit. Now, one thing that actually sold very well, I'm not sure if you're aware of, is a game called Fallout New Vegas. I actually still play this game. Wonderful game by Bethesda and Obsidian. And Todd Howard is apparently people believe that he's a little salty with how Obsidian did their Fallout game, Fallout New Vegas, and state that he's less likely to let an outside studio make a Fallout game again.
So someone helped you make money and now you don't want that help anymore, good sir?
Well, let's take his words. I wouldn't say never, Howard said, but now that our company is so big, it's always better to keep stuff internal. It becomes less likely, but I could never say never. I thought the Obsidian guys did a fabulous job. Now,
So you don't like money?
Now, see, now, let's play, like, let me be fair. I see where he's coming from. Things are getting bigger. So that would mean that he already has the staff to do it. So just for any other job opportunity, if you don't have to go to the outside for any support, why would you?
That's fair.
Like I have the staff. I could do it here. Now, what it sounds like on the outside is, yeah, dude, you definitely mad salty about the fact that people love Fallout New Vegas more than they like 3, 4, and how much they're most likely going to like Fallout 76. Like, the fact that I would argue, and correct me if I'm wrong, Fallout New Vegas was the most heavily modded Fallout game before 4. And most of the mods of Fallout 4 were to fix crap.
I mean, the only game I typically watched you play was New Vegas, so...
I mean, it just had so many amazing aspects, like, so many amazing things.
You make a new character every other time I come here.
It was just amazing. Like, I got the good old boy, I got Ladasha, don't ask.
I remember that. I remember throwing something at you.
Awesome, so you don't have to do it again.
I'm gonna punch you after we're off the mics.
Why? Okay, you heard that. So if I come out hurt on my Twitter, you know what happened? Follow me on Twitter at MRG_SBR. But yes, you know exactly what happened. That way no one says. But I find this I find this hilarious. I think this is funny. Like, so we had someone on the outside do something better than us, but it turned out that yeah.
I mean, it could just really be he's trying to think economically and smart and all that thing. What's this good? Well and good under the guise of, good sir, you're salty.
Just a little bit. Just
you
very.
You are the salt on bacon.
Oh boy. Now.
Bacon.
Now we get to talk about the main topic, the thing that I am objectively biased about at this very moment, considering I have 31 hours, 25 minutes into the game. Octopath Traveler, as of yesterday, was sold out of their physical copies on Amazon.
Dude, I walked into a GameStop across the street from my day job, or the other location day job. Not there.
So not at a GameStop either.
Not at GameStops either.
I went, let's see, when I first got the game on Friday, they had like 20-something copies, at least, that I saw. As of right now, well, as of this recording, the John Hancock Center, nothing. These are Best Buy. The South Loop location, nothing. And we're talking just physical copies. You could
Chicago.
Yeah, physical copies in Chicago. But let's also take that into consideration. A JRPG for the Nintendo Switch ran out of physical copies. Now, the article states that it's a little bit different when physical copies are made on a disc versus a cartridge. Let me see. Let me just make sure that I get to it. For example, if Square Enix were to release Octopath Traveler on a disc, it's possible that it would release a number of copies more in line with what its actual sales expectations for it were. However, with Octopath Traveler being on a cartridge like all other Switch games, Square Enix and Nintendo had to be more conservative with the number of units produced, because it's actually significantly more expensive for Square Enix and Nintendo. It's more expensive for them to produce the physical copies. It's actually more expensive than just writing it all to a disc and then shipping it out.
All the things we trade to have mobile.
I mean, yeah. Like, could you imagine doing something like, remember the PSP? You couldn't jostle that thing, or else, like, oh, disc error.
Oh God, I hated that. I hated that so much. It's like we had just left the era of the Walkman and the CD players. Why?
Oh man, I'm remembering that old PSP commercial with those squirrels. It's like, yo!
Don't. We know what you're talking about. You don't gotta say it. Behave yourself.
But you don't even know what I'm gonna say.
Anyway, Mr. Gamer.
But yes, I'm happy. I am so happy that they actually. I'm not happy that they ran out of copies, but I'm happy that they have to make more. I want everyone who has a Nintendo Switch, and actually people who don't have a Nintendo Switch, to enjoy this game. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I will tell you this much. This game is unforgiving for people who are not veterans of JRPGs.
Well, you can save that for your review.
Yes.
Anyway, what I wanted to touch on was that, like, I'm not so surprised that the physical copy sold out so fast because this is an RPG. This isn't something like Street Fighter or Mario. Or
that is a very
like that.
That's an excellent point. It's not there because we know that this game is made in its entirety. We know that once you beat this game,
you can just
that's it.
chuck it.
Yeah, like that you can sell it, so it would make a whole lot more sense to get that. Now, unless you got Octopath Traveler Wayfarer Edition, which has significantly more things like artwork and soundtracks and things like that. Like that's if you got that, you are most likely to keep the physical copy. But for myself and Miss Duvall, yeah, most likely I don't know, because the same could be said with Super Mario Odyssey. Aside from Balloon World, there really wasn't much else to it. But I still love that game. So I guess I'll have to find out how I feel after the story.
I'm saying how most gamers have a tendency to buy physical copies of games that they feel like they will trade in.
I agree.
Versus games that they know they're not going to trade in. Like, I know for a fact at least 90% of the people I play with are never going to trade in Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, or Breath of the Wild.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Like I can definitely see that. I honestly think that's a fair argument.
And Square Enix did come out and say that they'll try to have more copies out within the month.
I hope so, because everybody needs to get that game, and if you don't have the game,
you have to get it digitally.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of gigabytes. That's a lot. That's a lot of gigabytes.
Now, that's what you gotta do.
Yeah. So before we actually wrap up, there was something that I actually did want to kind of touch base on. We've been just about 50. We're now 52 episodes deep into this, and I truly want to know, if you are listening to this right now, I want to know, where are you listening to it? How exactly are you absorbing it? Do you like it? Do you want it to be switched up a little bit? I am thinking about switching things up a little bit, but I always want it to be something that my audience is going to enjoy, and the only way I'm going to know that is if you guys tell me.
He could totally pie you in the face.
Okay, can we not do something that would possibly cause physical harm to me? That would be...
Pie in the face isn't going to harm you.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Unless the back of the tin hits you.
Any hoof. So, I want to know how you're listening to this. Anything you want to change? Is it Facebook? Is it YouTube? Is it Google Play, iTunes, what have you? Let me know. Let me know what you would let me know what you would like, because there's definitely going to be some things that no pun intended, get switched up a little bit. But I want it to be something that I know that my audience is going to enjoy, as I'm doing this for you. And with that being said, this is Mr. Gamer,
and this is Kitty Duvall,
signing off.